Now, is your idea of having a TV dinner after a long day at work, watching a new box set while eating could be a recipe for putting on weight? Because one of the reasons, you can't hear yourself eating. That's what American scientists believe after monitoring how much volunteers ate, according to how much they could hear their own crunching sounds. Claudia Hammond from Healthcheck is here with some crunchy snacks. We have to illustrate them, Claudia. We wouldn't be able to understand it without seeing them.
Yeah, some lovely snacks there.
Yes, we might be partaking later. Now, noise isn't something that you'd normally think about with diet and how it affects eating, but what did they find?
Yes, I mean, it really isn't, because you tend to think about what food looks like, what food tastes like, and, you know, what it smells like. But what they found was that if they masked the sounds of people eating, so they got all these people sitting in little cubicles, put headphones on them, played them white noise, and gave them, you know, nice things like pretzels to eat, and they were allowed to eat as few or as many as they wanted to. And what they found was that if they masked the noise of their crunching by playing them loud white noise in their ears, then they would actually eat more if they couldn't hear themselves than if they could hear themselves crunching.
Gosh, so, I mean, what do scientists think is actually behind this? Is this the brain stocking up how much you've been heard eating as well as what your stomach is feeling? That's
right. So we know that there are cues to when we feel full, and that's how we guess how much to eat. And we monitor how much we eat, and we know what seems a reasonable amount and what doesn't. And partly you do that by things like the size of the plate. So it's been known for a while now that if the plate is a bit smaller, and so you think you've had a full plate full, you'll full faster than if it was a little amount on a bigger plate, because then you think, I haven't had enough yet. But it turns out we're also doing that with sounds, and so we're monitoring ourselves crunching and eating away and paying attention to that. And that even if you eat quietly, say you're trying to be very, very polite with somebody and you're trying to eat very quietly and make a good first impression, you're still concentrating on the sounds. And as long as you're concentrating on the sounds, then actually you will eat less. It's giving you the cues to say, yes, I've eaten lots of food now, I've had enough.
So they use white noise, but they think this could translate into sitting in front of the TV, not really hearing what you're eating, as well as not really looking at it.
Yes, and not really thinking about it. So you can kind of, you know, we've all been there and sort of eaten a bit mindlessly maybe when you're sitting on the sofa and just sort of shovel the food in, and you don't really notice it, and that the sounds of the TV would be on, so you wouldn't notice it. You don't stop in the way that with conversations with people at a table you take in turns, and so you would stop then naturally. But watching TV, you don't, so you might just eat more and more.
That's interesting. So the word mindfulness is not only about looking at your food, it's also listening to it.
It's listening to your food, yes. So what you need to do, if you're trying to not eat too much and not overeat, is to pay real attention to what the food tastes like, what it looks like, but also what it sounds like, and to pay attention to those crackles. And we know that people do like those in food, you know. People like foods that make noises.
Claudia, fascinating. Thanks very much. We'll all listen a bit more closely to what we eat, as well as look at the quantities we're eating. Now, while we eat all those snacks, let's go over to Nick Marshall-McCormack for the latest sports news. Hi, Nick.
I was going to say, how rude you can get stuck into those snacks.